Hello, welcome to Dungeon Dwellers Podcast. I'm your host, Justin. Today, we not only have another DC Comics review, we have another Batman Beyond review. This time, it's Batman Beyond 2.0 Volume 1 Rewired. Written by Kyle Higgins, art by Tony Silas, which Kyle Higgins has worked on Nightwing, Deathstroke, and Tony Silas has worked on Vellum. So, unlike my last Deadpool book that I reviewed, this actually stars Terry McGinnis as Batman. The last Batman book we reviewed had Tim Drake as Batman Beyond, or the future Batman, which I always call him Batman Beyond. I don't know. That's what I called the new Batman when I was a kid. So the name just stuck, even though he's just supposed to be Batman. So this trade paperback, collects Batman Beyond Universe 1 through 8, and online, this book was sold as Batman Beyond 2.0 Rewired, chapters 1 through 16, apparently. Which, if this is not a thick book, so like how this has 18 issues, I don't know. I got this at the dollar store, so I have to remove. They put the price tag right over the old prices, so it's hard to see. Oh yeah, so US it was sold. You can buy this on shelves for like $16.99 US, $19.99 Canadian. Which this was published in 2014, by the way. So, the story. Well, there's two stories in here. The first one is Terry McGinnis. I almost call him Batman Beyond again. Which, for people who don't know, Batman Beyond was a TV show in, like, I think it was the early 2000s. It was like a sequel to the Batman the Animated Series, where instead of the Batman the animated series had like 1920s, 30s like gangster era aesthetic, and Batman Beyond it had a cyberpunk aesthetic where you had an old man, Bruce Wayne, who trains this teenager Terry McGinnis to become the new Batman after he broke into his mansion and stole the bat suit, right? So he can avenge his father, right? Which in the episode of Justice League Unlimited, they had a episode where they showed off a really old Bruce Wayne and a 35-year-old Terry McGinnis, where he found out that that Bruce Wayne was secretly his father the entire time, and that he meets Amanda Walker, and Amanda Walker said that basically she, through a vaccine, rewrote Terry McGinnis's dad's DNA. So like whenever he had kids with a woman, that guy would the kids would genetically be Bruce Wayne. So like the Amanda Walker cucked using Bruce Wayne's DNA as a proxy, cucked Terry McGinnis's dad, which is that's super dark if you think about it. But and Terry McGinnis takes it like, not like, oh, that's not a big deal that this fat bitch did that to my dad. my the guy who raised me. Right. Well, let's get on to the story. So basically, Terry McGinnis is working with Nightwing now, Dick Grayson, who's a retired Nightwing, who has an eye patch, and for some reason, which I don't remember if Dick Grayson was ever in the Batman Beyond TV show. I only remembered Barbara and like Tim. For some reason, Dick Grayson, who should be older than Barbara and Tim, looks way younger than both of them. Like he looks like he's like in his I don't know, like 50s, while they look old as shit. I don't know. That was like a slight nitpick to me. But yeah, he's like he's like running support for Bruce Wayne. Sorry, not Bruce Wayne. Terry McGinnis. Which first case in this book is the mayor of the city is working on uh, reopening Arkham Institute so that they can rehabilitate the super criminals. Ends up getting assassinated through like getting like electric shocks through his cell phone, right? And it turns out it was the work of this villain named Rewired, who has electrical powers, whose costume looks pretty cool. And then, like, you see him teaming up with other Batman Beyond villains like Spellbinder, which I don't really remember him from the show. But then again, it's been like over like 15. Like the last time I tried to watch Batman Beyond was in like high school, so it's been like over like not 15. It hasn't been 15 years, but it's been over way over a decade. So it's like, yeah, I don't remember Spellbinder, but I do remember Shriek. So like he had a really cool costume. So like you see Rewired next to Spellbinder, Shriek, and Ink, and right away he like design wise he fits in with these other characters, but that's mostly because like a lot of the costumes or designs for the characters is like random color with black. They like Shrek is mostly white and black, Spellbinder is red and black, Rewired is yellow and black. And even the main villain, the radioactive skull face dude, he was like green and black. So he fits in. It turns, I don't want to spoil who not Spellbinder, Rewired is, but it was pretty cool. A lot of cool action. You had some actual detective work. For some reason, Rewired is teamed up with Ghoul, who was part of the Joker's gang. And you got a lot of screen time with Barbara Gordon. I know it's technically not screen time because it's a comic book, but whatever. I don't know what the equivalent of screen time is for comic book reviews, right? Yeah, did I mention there's like a lot of drama between Terry McGinnis, Dick Grayson, and Bruce Wayne, it turns out that Bruce Wayne had figured out who the Rewired was way before our characters did, which they didn't even really find out. He pretty much doxed himself. Rewired pretty much doxed himself, but yeah, like he had found out way before the dude doxed himself, and before Terry McGinnis and Nightwing did. But because they were ignoring Bruce Wayne, they didn't find out until much too late. Which why there's this rift between Bruce Wayne and Terry McGinnis. They don't really explain it other than like Terry McGinnis doesn't trust Bruce Wayne. But dude, you're wearing his costume, his tech. Like, you can give him some respect. And then there's also the second story is Batman is now has to fight the Cult of the Bat, which is run by an old Kirk Langstrom, aka Man-Bat. He has this cult of Man-Bat followers, because in the future, furries took their furry shit to a whole new level. They start genetically splicing themselves, so there's a whole bunch of new Man-Bats because of this new cult. They kidnap some city workers, take their like sonic scanners and turn it into some like weapon that can kill or destroy the city. Terry McGinnis. There's a funny scene where Terry McGinnis is hanging out with Dick Grayson and Barbara Gordon, and they're talking about like, Terry needs to team up with a sonic expert to infiltrate Man-Bat's hideout rescue the hostages and deactivate the weapon, and he thinks they're gonna team him up with Shrek, right? Which are like, no, dumbass, that guy's a villain. We're gonna use old man Bruce Wayne. Which, there's some drama, which it's kind of retarded, because I forgot to mention it earlier in the comic book. Shrek deafened Terry McGinnis, so like he has these like bone inducing or some sorry, he has these vibrating headphones that directly like take sound into his skull so he can hear. So like he was more willing to work with the villain who deafened him than work with Old Man Bruce again. Which was super dumb, but like obviously they team up and they save everybody, and you get this sob story about how Kirk Langstrom's wife died due to Parkinson's. He lost his kids, and that made him go crazy and want to do the cult of the bat shit. I don't know. Overall, I thought it was okay, and you get this after that story is done. You get this mini issue that's done in like the Bruce Timm art style, where you find out that like Dick Grayson had like a thing for Barbara Gordon, and like and they're talking about like how he how he always like he loved Barbara Gordon. She feels like they're talking now in the present, where they're like talking about like how she feels like he treats her like she ruined his life, because he dated Sam, the African American guy, instead of Dick Grayson, which whatever, right? I don't know. I thought I don't know. It was nice to see the Bruce Timm kind of art style, but other than that, it was like a cool bonus story, and you get some cool cover art. Character sketches by Tony Silas, and covers. I don't know. I really enjoyed this book, and it was nice to see the old gang back together. But my problem, I don't know if I want to continue reading this, because I got a little sneak preview of what happens later on in the series, thanks to that new book. Batman Beyond book I reviewed, which takes place later on. How they it apparently it turns post-apocalyptic, and there's a Terminator story where like Terry McGinnis goes back in time to warn everybody, hey, there's this AI that's gonna screw shit up, and like he gets killed in the past and gives his Batman suit to Tim Drake, and he travels into the future to try to save everybody. So like, yeah, I'm not a huge fan. I don't really want to. It's the thing. I like the cyberpunk stuff, but I'm not really into post-apocalyptic stories anymore. When I was a kid, I was into that, but yeah. So what I'm saying is, I like this book, but I don't know if I want to pick up more, because I don't want to read. I don't like the post-apocalyptic storyline that they basically ripped off from Terminator that they're gonna have. So I'm giving this book a 7, but I don't really want to read more Batman Beyond books unless I can get them for cheap. I'm probably not gonna review more Batman Beyond books unless you guys have suggestions and you guys want me to. So yeah, I'm just giving this a 7 out of 10. Haven't decided yet what book I'm gonna review next, because it's down to either. Because in my backlog of stuff, I only had like 2 Marvel books, right? Not including the new stuff I picked up in the comic book haul video. One was like a 4 book that was written by Jason Aaron. That it was volume 4, which I didn't notice that at the time. I thought I didn't see the number, so I kind of don't want to read the 4th volume in the series. But like the only other choice is an Iron Man book, which has like 14 issues. So that's gonna be hard to read. So I have not hard to read, but it's gonna be like, that's gonna take a while to review. So the another choice I have is X-Men Days of Future Past, which I've had this book for a long time, but I never got around to like reading it. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna flip a coin, and if it's heads, Iron Man. If it's tails, X-Men. So I'm gonna flip it now. I'm not gonna cheat. Okay. Oh, it's heads. Yeah. So we're gonna review Iron Man: Fatal Frontier next, and after that, I have we'll figure it out after that. So yeah, if you like my stuff, check out my playlist. I have pretty much all my comic book reviews organized in playlists. So there's like, if you want more Marvel comic reviews, I have a Marvel Comics reviews playlist. If you want DC Comics reviews, I got a DC Comics reviews playlist. If you don't like either DC or Marvel, I have a non-DC and Marvels playlist where you can find reviews from all the different various publishers. Alright guys, that's it for today's review. Peace.